Okay, so I'm here with Greg Meyer, and Greg and I were having a conversation earlier today. So I'm a 1 in Authenticate, and I was bouncing a couple of ideas off Greg on the Authenticate drive because he is an 8 in Authenticate, and we're sort of like polar opposites, and we have definitely been polar opposites. At times, that's been a wonderful source of synergy. At other times, right, Greg, it's been a source of conflict, but in a respectful way, we've always sorted that out.
Yeah.
I rang Greg to actually discuss some nuances around the Authenticate drive that even after 20 years of working together on the ID framework, there's still things that we're developing and learning and finessing, and today was one of those days. And Greg reminded me of a story of where we really met with the Avoid Authenticate and the Authenticate drive coming together with an understanding. And it was about, Greg, I don't know whether you remember, it was about a singer that you had seen, I think, sing a national anthem or something.
Yeah, it was a young girl. And it was a high school kid, 16, and someone mentioned it at a Friday training. You see that 16-year-old singing at the grand final in front of 100,000 people? I went, oh, yeah. And then you went in, came and said, 100,000, 16. Can you imagine what it would have been like for all her friends to be seeing that 16-year-old doing that in front of all, what inspiration?
Absolutely.
And how many people would have been inspired by that kid and their parents, and what it was like after all this driving back and forth to singing lessons and
Exactly.
and this, and then he went on, and all I thought to myself was, I just had 16-year-old sings national anthem.
So I guess that's a great example of the drive that the authenticator sees what is, in the moment, sees the picture. To you, it was the singer singing national anthem, did a great job. And for me, I imagined, and I guess I imagined it wasn't the truth of the day. It may not have even been her truth, but I imagined that she'd taken years of practice to get there, had dreamed of one day singing in front of a crowd like this. Her parents have dreamed about it. She's put all this effort in. They've driven her backwards and forwards to singing lessons, and this was her moment. So I'm like almost in tears watching this thing happen. And you're like, just a national anthem. I thought that was a great example. So,
it was my first glimpse of the depth to which you mine something with the authenticate, how much more you get from a moment. And we're noted for our getting it to the essence and succinctly distilling it down to the key point. And it's like looking at a tree and going, yeah, a tree, and it's there. But all the stuff going down and underneath with all the bugs and all the animals and beasts in the soil, so it really taught me how to enrich things. So I would look at something now, and I would imagine you being there. I would say something. I go, what would Paul say here? And I get way more out of it. Right, I can come back to the top of the tree. I can always come back, but I can go deep in that.
Well, and I think the key word for going to the underground, as it were, is imagine. Just imagine, because that's the world of the Avoid Authenticate. None of what I was imagining may have been true for that singer. She might have been a natural who just got up and sang that song, and it all just came out perfectly. But for many kids, it would be a dream. I mean, I know of tennis players who have had the picture of their idol on their bedroom wall, through all of their years, and then one day they're going to be on centre court, and when they finally make Wimbledon or whatever, it's like, oh my God, I've dreamed of this moment. So it's so much more than just the match itself. It's everything before that,
the other thing,
not just for them, but for others.
Sorry, the other thing you taught me with that one, that moment taught me, was that it may not be that story that what you panned out, but there was a story. And it for me, it was like Kid Sings, but there was some story there and that had been passing us by. And it, like even the other day in the training, you mentioned another time we had like that and another incident. And I went, no, that's not the one. And it didn't matter to the down A. It was like, yeah, but the moment. Right? And I think that's the gift that we don't have to, we up green think that's not right, but it's not about being right. It's about what all the other things that happened. Even if that wasn't it, something else happened.
And I don't think, a lot of times people think it's embellishing it, and it's not embellishing it to make it beyond what it was. It's to really capture the level of emotion that is involved in the experience, so that is there's a true picture about what's above the surface, but there's also a true reflection of what emotion could have been there beneath the surface, and allows people to connect to it. You actually said something earlier today, Greg, and I just want to bring this in, where the two drives could meet, because what you opened up to me that I thought was really exciting was the possibility that for all drives, not just the Authenticate drive, that although we can be opposites, You know, like you're authenticate, I'm avoid authenticate. Although we're opposite, maybe there's a place where we meet. And that could be true for all drives. Now, this could be profound because what you said, if I just read it, was you said, what really like gets you, like that magic moment for you was when you get the reality of the dream. So what really gets me when you get the reality of the dream, and I get that you get it. You know, that is where there's like a real meeting of the minds. And I'm like, wow, if we could find that for every drive, so that no matter how polarized people might seem from the ID, you know, by their score, if they know there's a meeting place that they can land in of common ground where it's not, and it's not just so much common, it's where the two drives merge with each other to create a synergistic power, you know, that could be profound.
It's where 1 and 1 gets 3 this time. It doesn't just say, oh, I am honoring you, you're honoring me. It's almost a tolerating. This is creating something you could not create by yourself, but you could only create together. So it's a creation that only happens because those two polarities can see what the other polarity can't and create a vision that wasn't available to either one by themselves.
Well, I'm sure that's true for the other 3 drives. And what I love about the ID framework is when you discover this for one drive, it provokes you to want to then uncover that for, you know, verify, complete, and improvise. So I look forward to getting to work on that and seeing what, you know, comes out of that.
That'll be fun time.
Thanks a lot, Greg. This is brilliant.
No worries. Thanks, Paul.
Okay.